10 years of movies have all led up to this, and well yeah, it was worth it. This movie's great. It's everything you would want, and a lot more. From the trailer and build-up, I was expecting this movie to be like the first Avengers, just with way more characters. I thought it would be quip after quip like the big fight scene in Civil War, but it's not. Infinity War is a very sensible addition to the Marvel story that features most major characters from the franchise fighting for the same goal, but not actually with each other. All the characters are separated into different groups doing different things in different places, and while it may create a few pacing issues, it was the best way they could have gone about telling this story. The highlight of the Marvel franchise is the strong cast of characters with detailed personalities and backstories. And this movie features every character perfectly. Some characters do appear more than others, but the characters they highlight are written the best they've ever been. When Tony Stark shows up, you feel like it's the Tony Stark you've spent several movies with. Everyone is in character, which is a surprising feat considering how intricate these characters actually are. They could have easily written everyone on a basic level, like Stark is egotistical and Peter Parker is a nervous, nerdy kid. But they go the extra mile and make this movie feel like a significant piece of each character's story arc. Speaking of significance, I'm so pleasantly surprised by how dark this movie is. I'm so happy films like this and the new Star Wars trilogy are allowed to be deep and artistic. It's not art house level, but it's still totally unlike the other Marvel movies in the best possible way. It's an exciting and suspenseful adventure with high stakes, and that's made evident in the first few minutes. There's so many good moments of tension in the movie that honestly had me gripping my seat. You just don't know what will happen next. I was not expecting the movie to be this way at all, but I'm so glad it is. Sure, there's still plenty of great character comedy like always, but it never gets in the way of the dramatic moments. And the comedy may be the best it's ever been because of how well written all the characters are, and it rarely feels like the movie is blatantly making jokes. It all comes off as natural dialogue from these crazy personalities. The movie certainly puts you on an emotional roller coaster. Another pleasant surprise is Thanos. A lot of the movie puts focus on him and his backstory, and while I never wanted him to win, I felt emotionally attached to him. I think that comes from how well acted he is in his CG. Like always, the CG isn't entirely realistic, but his acting, mannerisms, and even the way he's written make him a really strong character. There's a lot to like about this movie, but I think Thanos is the highlight of the film for me. The movie has great visuals and sound. The cinematography is really good, notably better than some of the other Marvel movies. And there's no shaky cam during the fights. You can always tell what each character is doing. Some of the CGI that was on crowds or aliens looked a little wonky to me, but still a lot of the visual design was very creative. So many scenes you could see the concept art pouring through. Also, Thanos has these minion guys that all look like characters out of World of Warcraft. The sound design, in terms of just sound effects, was really good. When there's fighting going on, you could feel every impact, and whenever Thanos plops a stone into his gauntlet, there's a really satisfying and threatening sound. The music isn't too noticeable, it's typical action movie music. The only score that really stood out to me was the one played during the ending. And speaking of the ending, well, I can't spoil it, but man, part of me wishes the entire franchise ended here. But, well, they need their money. I just hope whatever's next for the MCU doesn't detract from the creativity and impact of this movie. That about does it. I gushed a lot, but this movie's worth gushing over. It could have easily failed due to how ambitious it was, but it greatly succeeds at just about everything. Of course, if you're not invested in the MCU, this film probably isn't worth your time, but if you are, it's exactly what you want and more. There are enough context clues for an outside fan to understand what's going on a little bit, but for maximum enjoyment, the rest of the franchise should be viewed. The MCU is so popular because it's a progressive story that's always changing. Every movie has at least one new and unexpected event. Maybe each movie has the same sort of pacing and overall story, but the intricate changes are always very creative and engaging. And surprisingly to me, Infinity War is unlike anything else from the franchise, in the best possible way. That's all for this review. If you're a fan of Marvel, let me know what your favorite movie is in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this movie if you go and see it. Thanks for watching. I think that comes from how whacked